This is a very weird thing to say. We played a Zelda game that you really hadn't played before.
I know, isn't that a weird thing?
There's not a whole lot of those out there.
Um, I mean, there's basically two, and we just conquered one.
So that mean there's one left or there's two left?
There's one left.
Okay. The way you phrased it, I was like, there's two other ones besides this one? Like, what else? I know the one, obviously, but like, what's the other one?
No, sorry, there were two. Now we have taken down one.
I mean, I guess you haven't played the Satellaview games. You watched me play those, so.
I experienced them.
Yeah,
How's that?
true.
Because I have
Yeah,
actually played the CDI ones, believe it or not.
because you're out of your mind.
I am a menace to society
uh,
and
uh,
myself.
that is, all things are very true. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady
Hello.
This is episode 397, and we are going to talk about The Legend of Zelda Four Swords, but not an adventure. Not yet.
Not the adventure. Not
It is
yet.
not an adventure quite yet. There's just four swords, but it's just one sword that's called the Four Swords. No. Don't ask me. I was there.
You were there. Yeah, it's the Four Sword. That's the name of it.
Four
Not
sword and
not the
7 years
game, the
ago.
sword. All right, Abraham.
Got my top hat on. Yes, this is the first multiplayer Legend of Zelda game that they put out alongside a GBA port of A Link to the Past, which I guess is just A Link to the Past. So like, there's nothing really to talk about with that. A Link to the Past is a very good game, so that's all you really need to know.
hmm
But yeah, this is kind of
I had
like
this cart specifically for that.
this was like a little gimmick they put on alongside this to be like, hey, you want to play multiplayer Zelda? I guess like I don't know, you'll try
Mhm.
this out. Might as well link up all your GBAs together with your friends. All the cables are out there.
Which is why I never played this one because I
Yeah.
had no friends.
So yeah, the way we play this is through the Switch emulation stuff. Because this is on the GBA thing now, so like it is fairly easy to set up. You just like push a couple buttons and it's just like, all right, have someone host. You both boot up the game and then you're in the same game together.
hmm
Essentially, it's fairly easy,
It's pretty easy, yeah.
which is nice. So yeah, that is an easy way to do this. I'm sure like through emulation and everything, it is also easy to do it that way, I would presume.
hmm
But this is the easiest, probably legal way to do that now. I don't know, unless you own like the 3DS versions of this, or the 3DS or DS, I should say, versions of this. But again, that's just also like cables and Wi-Fi, maybe, I don't know. Either way, this originally came out on the Game Boy Advance on December 2nd, 2002 in North America first, which is surprising.
hmm
March 14th, 2003 in Japan, and March 28th, 2003 in the European regions, and then came out on DSiWare on September 28th, 2011, and then was again re-released on the 3DS eShop between January 31st and February 2nd of 2014 to celebrate the release of A Link Between Worlds. So just throwing that out there every now and then. Yes, let's talk about the development of this game. This was a collaborative development effort between Nintendo and Capcom, because of course, this is a handheld
hmm
Zelda game. Capcom was the people making those at the time, so of course, they would be brought in to, do this and all that sort of stuff. The process supervised by Minoru Narita, Yoichi Yamada, Takashi Tezuka, and Yoshikazu Yamashita from Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development. Analysis and Development, not analysts. The Link to the Past portion reused the art assets from the Super Nintendo version. Alterations include tweaks to item locations to prevent exploiting the game, a reduction of the viewable playing area, and the inclusion of voice samples from Ocarina of Time. Weird. Capcom had begun development of the Minish Cap in 2001, but temporarily suspended it to free up resources for the Four Swords multiplayer component. The company designed the multiplayer portion to force cooperation between players in order to progress. You're going to play together.
Play together. Grr.
The developers designed the levels to adjust the puzzles. That's right. The puzzles to the number of players participating. If 2 or 4 players are connected, then a puzzle will require 2 and 4 characters respectively to complete it. As that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Four Swords differs graphically from the other portion and features, I guess, from the Link to the Past portion, I guess they're saying, and features a style similar to the Wind Waker, which was released around the same time.
I wouldn't agree with that, but that's fine.
Though Four Swords was not initially planned as the first title in a sub-series, the story intended to be the earliest in the series chronology at the time of its release was already considered to influence future games. I think you could
say the timeline's bad again.
Yeah, because they're saying like this is like a prequel to Ocarina of Time, and it's like who cares? No one cares. Stop talking about the timeline. It's dumb. What I wanted to say was that like the style that they use here is very much what they eventually just use for Minish Cap, essentially.
Yeah, and they actually have a hat in this one that is literally just the Minish Cap. It just doesn't have the talking bird man.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just like them, like they've already started working on it and just being like, let's just throw this in here as a little nod and a tease to maybe what we're doing later.
Possible, because I mean it's like a 1-to-1 for the art style. Except for this is my favorite art design of Zelda, Princess Zelda, and I'm sad we only got it once. She's a ponytail. It's so cute. I love the ponytail.
Here's how they promoted and released this game. The game was first revealed at E3 2002 by series developer Shigeru Miyamoto, who demonstrated the multiplayer mode along with Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto, and Namco Bandai's Kanato Shiozawa, and Toshihiro Nagoshi of the why is Nagoshi here? Why are you not like working on Super Monkey Ball and thinking about Yakuza at this time, and you're playing Four Swords on stage with Miyamoto? What the
That's so funny. I didn't realize that.
What the
Oh my god, now I kind of want to see if I can find that video so we can watch him playing
I'm sure
Swords.
it's out there somewhere.
I'm sure it is. Why is he here?
I don't know. Like, why is there also a dude from Namco here?
Namco here? Okay, yeah, fair. Maybe
I guess it was just like
just friends.
Maybe they were like presenting stuff at the time. There's like, hey,
maybe
you want to come on stage and play Zelda multiplayer? Sure. I mean, why not? At the time, it was tentatively titled The Legend of Zelda GBA. In January 2003, the game was displayed at the Osaka World Hobby Convention as The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Four Swords, and then was initially released in North America on December 3rd, 2002. So this would have been released before it was shown off in Japan. Miyamoto made a public appearance in Europe in February 2003, in which he signed Nintendo products and gave away 10 signed copies of the game a month before it came out in the UK. Following the Japanese release, Nintendo displayed the game at TV Kumamoto's TKU 15th Day, an annual event hosted by the Japanese television station in Kumamoto Prefecture. In 2006, it was re-released in Nintendo's second run of the Player's Choice titles at a reduced price, and then, like we said, the game was released on the Nintendo Switch Online on June 18th, 2024. According to the aggregates, this has a 95 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Wow, that's
which
high.
I wonder how much of that is Link to the Past carrying this, though.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because that is a very good video game, so
it's one of the best video games ever made.
So that's definitely going to be, I think, doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Let's see here. The game was a top seller in Japan following its release. It was the second highest title in number of sales the week of its release, and was number 6 the following week with 0.04 million units. It sold 1.63 million copies in North America as of December 2007 and 0.29 million in Japan as of December 2009. I'm trying to find if this like says anything really about like the Four Swords part, and it is not just about Link to the Past.
Yeah, I was trying to read through the review bits here to see.
Because mostly it's just like, hey, Link to the Past is very good.
Which is true.
So
it's very, very true.
There is that. They would eventually make a GameCube sequel, Four Swords Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Minish Cap is supposedly a prequel, Or is the
Okay.
Four Swords prequel is wait 2005 the Four Swords prequel the Minish? I guess the Minish Cap comes before Four Swords. Dude, who cares? Why am I even bothering trying to argue this?
That is technically what is on the timeline is Minish Cap comes before Four Swords.
Stupid.
Yep.
A sequel was announced for the Nintendo DS entitled The Legend of Zelda Four Swords DS, but that was canceled and then replaced by Phantom Hourglass. Interesting. Then, like we said, this came out on DSiWare, 3DS. Apparently, the re-release, the DSiWare version, which was called Four Swords Anniversary Edition, was made by Grezzo, who I believe also made the Ocarina and Majora's Mask 3DS ports.
Mm-hmm.
This enhanced port of the once multiplayer-only game includes a new single-player mode, where players have the ability to control two links and switch between them to progress through the levels. Kind of like some of the stuff you could do in Minish Cap, I would assume.
Right.
There are two new areas that can be unlocked: the Realm of Memories, which features levels resembling those in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, and the Hero's Trial, which features harder difficulty.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun to play like new levels in this,
Mm-hmm.
because there's not a lot of stuff in this game.
No, there's not.
I mean, this is kind of just like at the end of the day, this is like almost like a beta for them. Just be like, hey, we're testing this out and see if it functions and it is even like something remotely people would be interested in. Because like the story is very bare bones. And then you just get like 4 levels, and then that's just about it. And then you're in and out. How long did it take us to beat it? Like maybe like 90 minutes.
Maybe 90 minutes. It was pretty easy.
And it's like probably less than that if you take out all the time we did like all the tutorials, which we probably really didn't even need to do.
We didn't need to do the tutorials. We could have figured it out.
Yeah.
I wonder if I have this on my 3DS and I just never played this part of it because I like assumed that I couldn't.
I don't know.
Like that sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
And then I would just because if it had a free download, I probably would have done that.
It was only available for 3 days on the 3DS though.
Oh, so maybe I didn't.
That's the thing. And then I guess it was available as well for 3DS on between 2011 and 2012.
Okay, I'm legitimately curious.
So maybe, but no.
I bet my 3DS has no battery though.
Probably.
What are the odds you think that it has some battery?
Like very slim to none.
I'm thinking the same thing, honestly.
I will say I think this was a fun little experiment. Like obviously, like we said, there's not a whole lot here.
Mm-hmm.
It is very much just like you are doing little puzzles in these little worlds. You do a little bit of combat, not a whole lot really. Some of the combat I think is interesting because like they very much make it so like you have to do it with the other person.
Yeah.
So some of that's interesting. Like there's one where like you have to like pull apart an enemy to kill it, and then like you have to like throw an enemy to your friend to like, and then they will fly open and the other person will hit it. Stuff like that I think is interesting. The puzzle stuff is fun because it's like, you know, you have to both work together to get through these areas and all that sort of stuff. I did feel like that the controls for this, not necessarily the controls, but like just the way Link felt was a little not great.
That's so squirrely.
Yeah, it was like way more squirrely than I was anticipating. So like it's just not as tight as you would expect it to be from a Zelda game, which I mean maybe that's just like a byproduct of this probably just being a thing that they kind of just cobbled together and weren't really thinking of like, we got to make this the best it can possibly be. It's just like, we're making a multiplayer thing. Isn't that unique?
It's so unique. And I mean, like, I had mentioned to you when we were playing it, in my opinion, it makes sense that, like, it is the way that it is because you had to have a bunch of kids tethered together to play it, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, is it peak Zelda gameplay? No.
But it's not, I don't think, trying to be is the thing.
No, it's not.
Which is fine.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine.
They give you like the bare minimum of levels here. It's like, here's a kind of just generic grass zone. You get an ice level. You get Death Mountain. And then you have your final level, which is like kind of like castle theme, but it's just in the sky. Um, so like, there's not a whole lot of variety there, or like anything really new if you haven't, or if you've played any of the previous games in this series before. It's the basics. But again, it's just it is what you expect. I would assume they did way more with Four Swords Adventure than here, because they have this game under their belt. They have like they can just, and this is it's its own full fledged game by itself, so they can kind of just like do more with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially in terms of like gameplay or like levels and all that sort of stuff. I got a photo image here, a photograph. Look at this photograph.
Look at
Wow.
this photograph.
Al has turned on her 3DS and it has battery and a full bar of battery for like probably 5 more seconds till it's like, oh god, I'm depleted. But you have Four Swords Anniversary Edition.
I do have it. Like I said, my assumption is that I probably saw him and was like, oh, I still can't play this because I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
But I do have it, which is wild.
You experience those new levels.
Yeah, apparently I can.
So there's
And
that.
play by myself.
See how it feels by yourself compared to with another person.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think this was like a fun little gimmick thing. It was interesting to play.
Hmm.
It's obvious, like you said, it's very short. Like it's not intended to be like this full fledged thing. Um, and I think the gameplay kind of doesn't feel all that great. But at the end of the day, it's like it's fun to play a Zelda game with someone else. Like that's a fun little neat concept. I would be interested to find if I think there might be a way for us to do Four Swords Adventure
Just
online.
gotta be.
I'd assume there's something in Dolphin that lets us do that probably, but I'd have to like, look into that and all that sort of stuff. But I would be interested in playing that to see like how different it is and like
Hmm.
what they do differently and all that sort of stuff.
I would also be interested.
I mean, I guess this is the thing for you is like, how did you feel coming out of it? Because, it's been 20 years and you hadn't been able to play it. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that like this is one of those games that's eluded me forever. Um, and like it was fun. It was really fun playing it with you. Again, it was basic. It was fun though. It
I
was
got to throw
fine.
you.
You did get to throw me. That final boss fight was pretty rough. Um,
I wouldn't say it was rough. It was just that we were very bad at timing hits for a bit.
yeah, that's fair. It was rough in the sense that we were not good at getting the balls to go in the direction we wanted them to go in.
Yeah.
Like, was the fight hard? No. Um, was the fight something that we probably could have done better? Yeah, absolutely. We spent a lot of rupees reviving ourselves because we kept missing.
It's very true.
Um, but yeah, like it makes me interested to see what Four Sword Adventure is going to be like because that one's obviously a more robust version of this.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like this one being an experiment, like really hats off to it for being like the first Zelda multiplayer for real.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean it was fun and you can see like where Minish Cap came from, which is also really cool because I'm a huge Minish Cap fan.
Mm-hmm.
So like seeing the roots here, I didn't know that that was the case. Like I've have like all the Zelda books and I've played Minish Cap a ton of times and consider myself a pretty big Zelda fan, just a little bit.
Just a
Um,
smidge.
and I had no idea that like this was the origins of Minish Cap. Like the art's the same, the little gnat hat's the same, like even the animation's the same
Yeah.
for him changing into a small little guy. So that was really cool. I'm reading on the wiki. It says when both games are completed, players may access a dungeon called Palace of the Four Sword and a Link to the Past. And I'm kind of curious what that's about.
Huh.
Like, is it just a place you can go, or is it like a dungeon?
That's a great question. Guess you'll have
Palace
to
of the
find
Four
out.
Sword. Um, a bonus dungeon. Really? You access it through a new entrance on the eastern side of the Pyramid of Power.
So it's a new dungeon in
Link to
Link
the
to the
Past.
Past. Oh yes, it does say that right there. Do
Boom.
read.
Yeah, so it says after completing Four Swords and after defeating Ganon,
Hmm.
then you're deemed worthy to go in.
Interesting.
You also have to pay a guy to go in there, but it's only 20 rupees.
Pay up, sucker.
Oh boy.
What?
I'm looking at all the bosses that are in there and
Oh, so it's
whew,
like a boss rush essentially.
I'm sure if that's what it is. It's unclear to me what it actually is, other than like you have to collect four swords.
Oh, I get it.
Um um yeah, you get to fight the little guy with the eyeballs, that you hook shot away from.
Yeah.
You get to fight the Helmassar King, who is the guy that you bomb or hammer to take the mask off. The guy that almost killed me when we were doing the randomizer when you were Sailor Moon and his tail kept going.
Everyone's favorite.
That's pretty good. Mothula, which is one of the worst fights in that game. Blind the Thief again. And then the Four Links. But it's cute because they're like the Links of the Past links, but they're the same colors as the Four Swords links.
Huh.
Um,
That's interesting.
for completing the Palace of the Four Swords, the player is granted the ability to view a quest log during the ending credits. This shows various data about the player's status in the game. Okay, what does that matter mean?
That's kind of a lame duck reward for that.
Yeah, I mean, like you already beat the game. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Although it does say, um, the dungeon contains lakes, which only make their appearance in the Game Boy Advance version of the game.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Well, there you go. The more you know.
Yeah, so I think that means that I'm gonna have to replay Link to the Past, but the GBA
Darn.
version of it.
Darn.
Darn.
Ugh.
I definitely don't have a flight coming up
No.
soon that
No.
would be a perfect time for me to play some Link to the Past.
Definitely not.
Uh-uh.
Before we wrap this up, there is one thing I want to ask.
Okay. Hit me.
3.5 years ago,
Hmm.
we did a podcast episode 212, where we ranked all the Zelda games that had come out at the time.
Oh my God.
And we put this game on the list for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, that's
Despite,
weird because I had not played it.
Yeah, great question.
Because I thought that was kind of our thing was that we would only do it if,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It came in at 21 of 24.
Okay.
It was apparently better than Triforce Heroes, the original 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors. I don't know how that happened. And then Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Do you think this game would go up or down on this list now, having played it?
I just don't think there's enough of it for it to really go up.
I would say the things I think that are in front of it that it could probably potentially pass
Hmm.
is Phantom Hourglass
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
and then Original Legend of Zelda.
I would put it above Phantom Hourglass because that game is not fun to play.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever played Phantom
I have
Hourglass.
not played Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah, it's not a very fun game to play.
It's interesting looking at this list. I'm just like,
Should we redo this at some point?
maybe we should redo this. I mean, there's been other games that come out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Namely, Tears of the Kingdom.
and there's another one coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll revisit it on one of our slow weeks.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. The updated version.
The updated Zelda
Yeah.
list.
I just wanted to bring that up because I remember it being on the list, and it's just like,
I
Would
still don't know why
would
it
this
would have been on the
change?
list.
I don't know. Maybe you were just super hating or something. You're like, I
I
gotta
don't
put this
know.
on here.
I don't know.
Again, 3.5 years ago. That's a long time.
It's a long time. But now we both played it, and
Hmm.
so it technically should be on the list.
And then if we played Four Swords Adventure, we could put that on the list as well.
You're right. Did we put the Satella video games
Yes,
on there? Okay,
we
I was
put we
just
put
checking.
the one,
The
the
one.
original one, not the with like the remakes of Link to the Past or of original Legend of Zelda.
Oh, okay, okay. The one that's like a sequel.
Yes,
Okay, that's fair.
the Isekai Zelda game.
Isekai. Um, now that's legit. Yeah, we should definitely revisit that at some point, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
But yeah, that's the Legend of Zelda Four Swords. There are indeed four swords when you play with four people, but
When you play with four
it's about
people.
the four sword.
The four sword.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
They just made it confusing on you.
Yeah, because like there's this weird thing that like they try and like combine the Master Sword and the Four Sword, and it's like those are very different swords, and it's very clear that they're different swords. And also you make the Master Sword and Skyward Sword, so how would we like
Look,
regress?
you're getting too far into the weeds of timeline shenanigans now.
Because the timeline is
That's why you don't even think about it.
timeline is
You just run away from it as fast as humanly possible.
Sorry, you're gonna have to edit all that.
I know. I'm so angry right now. Urgh.
Yes, angry.
But that's gonna do it for us this week.
Mhm.
Before Al starts getting us thrown off the air,
I'm gonna get us
cursing
canceled.
too much. But yeah, if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimeCheckup.com or sec.cool. That's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can follow us on Blue Sky at seasonalanimecheckup.com. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, a critical analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, Hot Tubs, and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza. Get access to unedited versions of the podcast early. Our monthly exclusive Patreon podcast, which we have put out a new episode of. We talked about Season 3 of The Bear.
The bear.
You can hear about why it has become a divisive season for people. Amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's up there along with, our other episodes we've done this year for that. And then there's also some other bonus stuff you can find on the Patreon as well. Next week we will be figuring out much sooner than normal, but we will have to figure that out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So look forward to that.
That.